Well, it's finally happened. I'm not going to say I'm surprised. I mean, I think we all knew it was coming to this. But Bitcoin finally crossed the $10,000 mark per Bitcoin. Doing some quick math, Barron's feels like Bitcoin at about 361,000 will be the same worth as all the world's fiat currencies combined. At the rate that Bitcoin's growing, 361,000 seems like it could only be a few days away. I'm not too sure what to make of this. I've said this more than once. I don't understand the implementation. How is it going to work? Who's going to adopt this? Why? What country? Does anyone have an answer for me? Is there anything more than momentum that's carrying this price forward day after day after day? We've heard that Bitcoin potentially, from some analysts of course, could close out 2018, and this is all assumptions, somewhere around the $40,000 per Bitcoin mark. If that was the case, I would probably say be prepared to watch a vast economic crash. I don't see any other way around it. There's no government that's going to take this currency on as their default currency. This currency isn't about to usurp the power of every government and become a global currency. This isn't a new world order. This is just a new idea. Well, it's not even that new anymore. It's been around for a while. But it continues to get so much mainstream attention. The CME adopting it in its futures trading, adding validity to Bitcoin. What is this going to do to your portfolio? I really hope that you're not spending any more than that 5% of allocated speculative money in your portfolio doing anything this risky. I know it's fun to watch it run around. It makes all sorts of gains. It makes all sorts of headlines. That's fun. We like fun, don't we? But at the end of the day, we're concerned about your retirement. That retirement for you, depending on who I'm speaking to, could be mere years away. Would you want to risk 30 or 40 years of employment, of gaining prosperity, and spend it all on something so speculative? If you're young, and this is something that you've got frivolous money to throw into, sometimes maybe you let it ride. Sometimes the lights even go out. Who knows? I don't. I don't even think the people that deal in Bitcoin know. I think they're caught up in the wave of emotion. I think Bitcoin is going to continue to rise, and I think it's going to have an epic fall. A fall that's going to make way more documentary films than they made on the mortgage crisis. More documentary films that were made on the dot-com bubble or the crash of 87 or the crash of 29. This is a detrimental situation in the making, and we're watching it unfold in front of our eyes. I don't want things to go bad for people. I just don't understand how it's going to work on a major scale, and I don't think any of the people involved do either. But I think they're more than happy to be taking your money as you continue to invest in something that is nothing more than imaginary at this point. One day, probably one day sooner than later, things are all going to turn around. People are going to come to their realizations. Big money is going to be taken off the table as the investors in Bitcoin, who knew it was going to go on somewhat of a run, take all their profits out, and other money just doesn't come in, except common man, investor money, who love catching a falling knife and hoping that things will bounce back. That's probably not going to happen. When it starts to go, it's going to be a house of cards. And it's going to come down, and it's going to come down very swiftly on a lot of people's economic value in the economy. I don't want to see you fall prey to this. I want you and your family and your portfolio to do better than this. This is something we definitely need to heed the warnings of all the major banks, hedge fund managers, analysts. This isn't a joke. This is definitely a bubble. This is definitely a bubble. Be afraid of Bitcoin. One day, it may take your entire life savings away if you're not careful and well diversified. If you want to play with 5% of your speculative money in Bitcoin, that's your choice. But don't say I never warned you. I'm Cody from Wall Street Breakdown. If you haven't already, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, thumbs up for this video, thumbs up for the voice of reason. I hope I'm at least somewhat the voice of reason here. And leave us some comments. We love hearing from you. We'd still love to hear how Bitcoin's going to be implemented on any major scale at all. I'm all ears. I'm waiting. And so are all the investors in Bitcoin, the ones that are caught up in the maelstrom. I think they need to know. I think they need to understand that there is no implementation plan here. It's all just a big speculative bubble. Have an excellent rest of your Tuesday.